Hi, welcome back to Black Writing on White Lines. I'm your host Jelly Roll, and today we have a very special guest, Ms. Zora Neal Hurston. Hi, welcome to the show, Ms. Hurston.
Thank you, Jelly Roll. It's an honor.
Truly. So today we'll be discussing Mrs. Hurston's new book, Their Eyes Were Watching God.
I think it's a great book, and everybody watching should go out and buy it right now.
I hate it. But anyways, besides that, the first question that many viewers have been asking is, do you find your book to be racist?
Well, I don't find it to be racist, but a lot of people that either you that are watching or some people here in the studio may find it to be racist because a white woman had funded my publishing and my writing, but I don't believe that to be the case. I think while I was writing it, I wrote from the heart, and it brought out the livelihood and the spice that the black culture brought to the world today, and I was using my book to preserve the culture.
Very well said, Mrs. Hurston. And we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Prescott Hemingway, and summer's on its way. Are your whites not bright? 'Cause if not, buy Mrs. Turner's bleach. That'll get your dirty whites nice and bright for summer.
And welcome back to the show. For our next question, Mrs. Hurston, many people who have read your book believe it to be written for the enjoyment of white people, simply put. How do you respond to this statement?
Well, Jelly Roll, I don't really believe that statement to be true, because when I had written the book, as I previously stated before the commercial, I wrote the book to preserve the black culture and also to showcase the life and the spice that I had seen and that I heard when I hear black people speak.
Interesting. How do you respond to well-known critic Richard Wright?
I don't like him.
He wrote a scathing review about your book, stating that it follows the archetype of black writers, that they write simply for the enjoyment of white people to laugh at. They write about the struggles, and they laugh about the deaths, and all the things that happen to black people in the book. And that's solely for white people's entertainment. How do you feel about Richard Wright's statement?
I feel like Richard Wright is only writing about the very wealthy white people, and he's not taking into account the common white folks, because they feel the same as the common black folks. And when they read this book, there's common ground, and they can all kind of feel the same about my writing.
So are you saying that white folk, common white folk, and common black folk both find this degrading?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that they can both find enjoyment in my writing.
But how, when it's making fun of them?
But it's not making fun of them. I'm using it to
Have you read the book?
I wrote the book, Jelly Roll.
And we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Need a way to keep your woman in line? Buy Jody's Head Rag. It's guaranteed to do the job every time. You can make it clean her dishes, you can make it wear around her hair, whatever way you want. For the low price of $19.99. And welcome back to the show. For our next question, Mrs. Hurston, many people see your characters as lacking in personality and lacking in the depth that would require of a truly intelligent and deep character. How do you feel about that?
Well, what do you mean by a truly and deep character?
Well, simply put, many feel your book is racist because your characters represent the race as almost dumb and ignorant.
I'm not representing them as dumb and ignorant. I'm preserving the culture. I'm presenting it how it is. I'm presenting it how. That's basically it. I'm presenting how it is. That's how they speak down south, and that's where this book is written. Is based off of the Deep South.
So, if you believe this is an accurate portrayal of the Deep South, then what characters do you believe portray the more intelligent side to the Deep South and show a good side, not necessarily negative side?
Well, I believe Jody, although he did beat Janie and he was abusive to her verbally and physically, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that was very well, but Jody, mentally he was very strong-willed, and he was ambitious, and he went out and he was a go-getter, like R. Kelly's song.
Ms. Hurston, for our next question, another well-known author and writer of the Renaissance times, Ralph Ellison.
I don't like him.
You don't like anyone.
I like you, Jelly Roll.
Has stated that your book has not helped the advances of Renaissance writers in their work in trying to further black social equality. How do you feel about this?
Well, I feel that Ralph Ellison is he presents himself as educated, but in honesty, he doesn't write at the same level as I do, and and I believe that he's angry that I was sponsored by a white woman and he wasn't.
Okay.
I feel like he thinks that it's some sort of prestige to be sponsored by a white woman.
So for your book, did you live in Eatonville, or did you just visit there?
In my book, Eatonville was sort of a made-up place.
Really? Interesting. And where did you get your characters from?
From just my mind, like any other fiction writer.
So do you think that this book accurately portrays black people?
I think that it's accurate, yes, but I also believe that if you look too deep into it, you can come out with some observations that aren't entirely true, like that I portray them as simpletons, which is not true.
And you were pro-segregation. This is correct, yes?
Yes, I'm pro-segregation.
So
That's also another theme that I wrote about in my book, is that if you read into my book, that you can notice that Eatonville was a very prosperous town, and although it was based off of some white style towns, and the way it was set up, it was based off of how white towns were set up and white settlements, but it was solely a black community, but it was very prosperous. And so what I'm saying is that there's no reason to integrate, because if there's integration, there's still going to be that discrimination and hate towards the black community. But in the Eatonville, there was no hate or discrimination between blacks.
well, thank you for your answer. That's all the time we have today, folks. We'll be back next time with a polar bear.
I like